Alright, CPO here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about getting ready to maiden the helicopter. So as you can see, I have installed training gear. I'm getting ready to take flight for the first time above like a couple inches where I've been doing some testing. So I'd like to have a little bit of protection. I don't plan on leaving the training gear on for very long, but I would like to have that just extra little bit of protection the first few times I try and fly. So at any rate, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things on the helicopter that I may not have shown you previously. Just kind of go through an overview of where I'm at to date. I have everything ready to go. I did redo the tail setup, and I'll probably go over a little bit more detail, hopefully if I have some time later, on the tail. If you look back at the video where I did the tail setup, I ended up doing instead of centering the slider on the pitch shaft, I basically centered the arms to 90 and ended up with a little bit of pitch. At any rate, I wasn't real happy with it. So first lesson learned here, the first thing to know is I originally set up my tail with the first servo, the Phytech servo. Then I changed servos, and I think the best advice I have is to go back and pretend like you've never set up a tail before with the new servo. I set up the tail servo, the new one, and got everything where I wanted it. Then what I found out is that the new servo has a reversed orientation compared to the Phytech. So I had to go into the Robird software, actually click the reverse direction checkbox, which changed the direction that the servo was moving in relation to the stick movement. The problem is that kind of messed with everything. All the other adjustments were out of whack, and I didn't realize it right away. But basically what I needed to do is just start all over, re-90 the servo, and then readjust the tail slider position, the pitch slider. I decided to go with it centered. That's the way the helicopter is designed to be set up. The problem with that is you don't have that default pitch built in. And to be honest with you, in heading hold mode, it doesn't really matter, because your fly barless system is going to adapt to whatever it needs to do to keep it in a heading lock position. Where you really notice that lack of built-in 8-degree pitch is with regard to rate mode. I'm not going to fly in rate mode, but I can tell you if I just flip to rate mode, sitting on the floor, the helicopter will start to rotate, if I recall correctly, in a counterclockwise direction, because it doesn't have enough pitch to overcome the forces of the rotor torque. So right now it is set at basically a 0-degree pitch, which is how the helicopter was designed. And if you've seen the Finless Bob videos, he mentions how he believes it to be a design flaw, and he has a recommendation for flipping the tail blades. And I will probably do that mod later, but for now I'm just going to leave it stock. I'm going to fly in heading hold mode, so I don't have to deal with the rate mode issues that are really the challenge. In heading hold mode, the servos are constantly working to keep the helicopter stabilized anyway, so it is what it is. So that's that. The other thing, I want to show you how I mounted my landing gear. I had to do a little bit of research on this because I wasn't sure what the best way to do it. A lot of people just build the gear, set the helicopter on top, and strap it on. I don't know. I ended up putting the gear inside, in between the helicopter and the skids, and then I locked the backside in by putting it on the outside of the skid, and then the others in the middle of the skid. The key here though is this center point needs to be underneath the main gear as best as possible. And I don't know if I can find an angle that properly represents, but that is almost directly underneath that main shaft, which is going to keep center of gravity fairly well consistent and give me better coverage for the blades. So that's that. The other thing I haven't talked about is I did pull the sticker off the motor. That was recommended to me and seems to be a common practice. These stickers will tend to come off in flight anyway, or flap and give you all kinds of problems. So I just removed that to be safe. As you can see, this thing spins really nicely, really smooth. So I'm glad it worked out that way. The other thing is the Velcro on the battery. There's actually, you know, I researched this too. There was a lot of discussion about, do you put the soft side on the battery or the soft side on the helicopter? I ended up going with a different choice than I normally see for Velcro, and I went with this Scotch heavy duty fasteners. And it's not really like the traditional Velcro where you have the soft side and then the stiff side. It's stiff on both sides. It's like super heavy duty hold, and they interlock together. So as you can see, it doesn't really matter which one's which. I can put the batteries together. I can clip the battery onto the helicopter. It's designed to hold a lot of weight, so I thought it would be a safe choice, and then in the end it didn't matter which was which. I don't fly with anybody right now, so I didn't have to worry about trying to share batteries. So if I just want to like put these together for storage, it was a convenient way to do it. When you put the Velcro on the battery, make sure you remove the sticker if there is one, because you don't want your sticker to come off with your Velcro. So I removed the sticker, used some sticky remover stuff to get that all nice and clean, and then put it on there. And then I also, of course, put the other side on the battery tray. And then I've got some room to adjust for center of gravity. If I've got a center of gravity issue, I can move the battery up or back. In this case, I'm going to have probably, I'm not sure. I was going to put the battery facing up in the canopy. I think I'll probably do that, and then have the cable run like this, and then strap down. So I've got to find a strap still. The strap that came with the kit is too short to get down here and then around. So let's see what else. I think that's about everything. You know, blade tracking seems to be okay. Everything looks good. I'm going to have some adjustments to make as I get started, but you know, I'm ready to get this thing in the air. I've done a little bit of scooting around just to make sure things were working properly, and then what I'll do now is kind of show you some of the things I'm going to be checking for whenever I actually fire up the helicopter outside to get ready to do the maiden flight. So hope this is helpful. It's exciting, yet a little bit bittersweet because I'm wrapping up the build, and I've had such a great time doing the build and then working with you guys. So hopefully I haven't missed anything important. I know that there is one thing that I've done that I'll still have to catch you up on, and that is setting the head speed on the helicopter. I did that in the using the Robird flybarless system and then the transmitter, and I will go through a video demonstrating how to do that, and I just haven't done it yet. I'm to the point, in the original part of the build, I wouldn't move to the next stage of the build if I didn't have a video up showing you where I'm at to date. But if I were to do that today, I wouldn't be able to maiden until next week, just because I don't have time to go back and edit video as quickly as I want. So at any rate, I want to get this thing in the air this week, and I will catch you up, I promise, on all the things to date. If you're missing something that you need to know that I haven't shared, let me know, and I will make sure I address it, at least from my perspective. So, okay, one other thing I wanted to talk about is batteries and battery conditioning or battery break-in. I have these two batteries. It's the only two batteries I have, and as you can see, I put the date that I bought them, put them into service, whatever you want to call it, and then I have them numbered so I can tell one from the other. And then basically what I'm doing is tracking the use of these batteries as far as how many cycles I'm getting out of them. It's my understanding once you start getting around 100 cycles, the chances of battery failing or not holding charge begins to increase. So I don't know how many cycles I'm going to get out of these. And these are Turnigy's. These aren't super high-end batteries, so I don't know what my expectation is. But at any rate, because I'm tracking them by number, I can also track them. I'm using here an app. This is on my Android phone, but I have both of them. I have battery number 1 and battery number 2 identified, and I can tell you how many cycles I've had through the batteries. And this is a pretty cool app. This is RC Log, but I can, you know, I can track the helicopter if I do a flight, if I do a service on the batteries. You know, I can say, hey, I'm gonna do a flight. I'm gonna do a flight and charge, flight and store, discharge, store, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and then you can build some statistics. I haven't really played with this too much, so you know, I'm not gonna go through trying to show you the app. The reason I'm using it right now is just to track battery charge and discharge. So the other thing I did is went through a process of charging my batteries and then putting them in storage mode, probably 5 times each. During the process of the build, I realized that it was important to break in a new battery. So I essentially just would charge it, and then when it was charged, put it back into storage mode. That's one cycle, even if I didn't fly the helicopter. Then I charge it, then I put it back into storage mode. I did that to make sure I had at least 5 of those per battery just to get going. And so right now they're both what I would call broken in from that perspective, and now they're both fully charged and ready for today's flight activities. But anyway, something else I hadn't really talked about before that I was kind of doing on the side. So lots of great information on the net about batteries and battery break-in. It seems to me the general rule of thumb is, you know, about 5 of those cycles will help develop the proper pathways within the battery chemistry. I don't know. I'm not a chemistry guy, so go read about it on the internet. Lots of great information, but just don't forget that might be a good step to take. If you're buying the higher end batteries, that may already be done at the factory. I don't know. All I know is the recommendation was to do it, so I did it. So that's it on battery preparation. So one thing you want to look for whenever you fire up the helicopter, after of course making sure that everything looks tight, is making sure that your stick movements are moving the helicopter head and tail in the proper direction for your setup. So looking at the cyclic stick, you know, if I turn left and right, I should see the swash plate move in that direction. If I push forward and backwards, I should see the swash plate move in that direction. And then at the tail, it should move in the opposite direction that I'm pushing the stick. So if I push the stick left, the tail's going to move right. And if I push the stick right, the tail's going to move left. So that's kind of how that should come together. And you know, you just want to make sure that all your controls are doing what they're supposed to before you you know, spin the blades up as high as they'll go. So anyway, hopefully that helps. So another thing, you want to make sure your transmitter is fully charged up. On the DX6i, the transmitter voltage is here. It says 5.6 volts on mine. I believe that's pretty much full charge. I had it on the charger last night. So make sure that that is fully charged. You don't want to lose transmitter control because of a failed battery. Spending a couple months sitting here on the bench, it's easy to forget to recharge this thing. So make sure you charge that. And again, the batteries should be at full charge and ready to go for the first flight.